Hey guys, let's talk about duck feet. What do you mean? Feet that are facing out like a duck. That's what I'm talking about. But most of you don't know that there's 3 areas we need to look at to understand where the duck foot position is coming from. Is it coming from the hips? Is it coming from the knee? Or is it coming from the ankle? Okay, so if it's coming from your hips, you probably know because you're sitting all day long, you're in a slump position, a posterior tilt, which is causing that external rotation, that tightness through the hips. That means you've got to work on opening up those hips, unlocking those hips, securing your nice neutral hip position, and then work on your biomechanics from there. Then you have a locked ankles. If you have a locked ankle joint, right, this tibia, your shin bone, can't pass your foot or pass over your foot as you walk, you are going to compensate by externally rotating into that duck foot position in order to advance the tibia forward. Now, the one we're going to talk about today is external tibial femoral rotation. This comes from the knee. This means your knee is facing forward, the femur is facing forward, the tibia is externally rotating and externally rotating your foot. So you do not want to tell these people to bring the foot in because it'll just collapse the knee and it'll create shearing force on the knee. So what do we need to do? Well, there's 2 things we need to do. We need to release the tight muscles at the lateral side, this being the lateral gastroc, the biceps femoris, so that just means the lateral calf and the lateral hamstring, and then the IT band. But remember, the TFL here attaches into that IT band. We always want to go down either side. You can stretch it, you can foam roll it, but I prefer to just use a massage gun. They are super effective, so I'll start with my IT band. About 2 minutes on each major muscle group. Can even go into a little bit of a stretch here. Hang out. And then go down your IT band, right? Up and down that IT band. So you can roll down these. I'm going to go down my lateral hamstring, lateral gastroc, which is this big one here. I'll go down the soleus a bit to just go down those lateral side of the leg, all those muscles there. 2 minutes, each major muscle group. Now we need to get into the strengthening phase. Quite simply, if you're in external rotation, we want to work on, you guessed it, internal rotation. So these 2 exercises, you'll want to be seated and you want your knee to be at a 90-degree angle to your hip and your ankle 90-degree angle to your knee, because we are moving relative from the knee, so it's not standing because we're not moving from the hip, okay? So you either have a slide or you can use a piece of tissue paper if you have wood floors, because we need to be able to move the foot along the ground, okay? And then you'll need a band. If you don't have a band, please buy some bands. You're gonna need them. They're great for rehab. And we'll start with our first exercise, which is basically internally rotating the foot. Remember, we're strong in that external position, so you want to work on the opposing muscle groups so we're balanced. So sit in your 90-degree position, okay? And make sure you're in your neutral position for your hips. Your tripod position, I say, for your hips, and your tripod position for your feet, okay? So that means our feet are nicely distributed and evenly distributed in weight, and same with our hip position. From there, we want to bring our foot out into that externally rotated position. Make sure our knees stay in alignment with the hip, and then we just push into the toes and internally rotate that foot, okay? So we don't want the knee caving in. Remember, we're just working that tibia and that duck foot position, and we want to work on those internal rotators, making them strong, keeping the toes down. Good. We want to add on, after we do about 15 reps, we're going to pull the foot towards us, trying to keep the foot in contact with the ground and not lifting the heel, okay? And trying to keep the toes, again, connected to the ground. So internally rotate, knees stay aligned, pull the foot towards the body, good, and return to start position. The other exercise, we're going to create some resistance using a band, pop it around the forefoot. Again, start in that externally rotated position, create that resistance, in breath, exhale, internally rotate, and pull towards the body. Now again, you can just do the internal and external rotation, keeping the knees aligned. Try and make sure we use the out breath, creating that core, that pressure in the core, so that we're really reprogramming that pattern from the ground up and from the inside out. We want this local muscle system to start to reboot and work for us so that it can keep us going all day. It can keep our body aligned all day. And if you want to know more about that, you can get more information in my program or just DM me. Make sure you use these exercises again if you have duck feet that are not coming from the hip, not from the ankle, but coming from the knee. And make sure you address that, especially if you're a trainer, that we're not just telling our clients to bring their feet in alignment and in. We need to make sure we check the knee and the hip as well. I hope that helps, guys. Like, comment, and share if you found this helpful or anybody else may need this information.